Hi and welcome to the mail day with BeardedTinker. Let's see what Postman brought this time. We'll start in 10 seconds. And before we go any further, I really would like to thank all the members who have joined my channel. Thank you very much. Your support really means a lot. And don't forget to link your YouTube account with a Discord server account so you can get access to the special members-only Discord channel on my server. Thank you once again, and let's continue with the video. Let's see what we have here. Adapter. $3. This is no adapter. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10. So 10 times 800 milliamp hours, 2.96 watt hours. Batteries. Yes. Yeah. So what they will be used for, most of them will probably go to HiGrow boards. So it means that now I can get 10 more boards. 3 are on the way, so it's 3. I also received 2 more, so it's 1. So yeah, I have a lot more batteries than I've been needing this time. But as I said, I also plan to get more HiGrow boards from LilyGo. Yeah, this is nice. Let's check the web listing. So let's check these items. These are not the only batteries I've ordered so far. I think I ordered previously 2 batteries plus one additional time I ordered 3 or 4 batteries more. So I have plenty of them now. These are the 800 milliamp hours batteries, and from current testing or from my setup, I have 6, 8 or 9 boards in the system. They run between 60 to 90 plus days. Most of the boards are between 75 days, but I had some that were failing or batteries were draining at the 60-day mark, and some that have run much over 90, close to 100 or even a bit more. So I'm pretty satisfied with the batteries that I have running. They fit inside the original case that you can print for the HiGrow boards, but yeah, they do not close completely. If I would have a bit thinner batteries, that would be greater, but nevertheless, even those here work pretty great for my setup. So what it means that after 60 or 90 days, what I do, since I have already USB connectors magnetic in the sockets of the board, I just take my power bank and connect the power bank with the magnetic cable to the board and charge them. It takes a couple of hours, I would say 1 hour or hour and a half. I can charge 2 boards at a time because of the power bank I have. And yeah, it's okay. So I have to repeat that process every 2-3 months, which is pretty awesome for me. There is the option to buy 5, 10 or 20 or more batteries, but as I said, I only needed 10, and I also have now spare batteries, so I think I can go up to 15 or 16 boards total before I have to buy a new batch. And if I would buy a new batch, I would definitely go for 5 or 10 pieces because the price is much lower. Not much more to say. You do have to solder the connectors there, but as I said, I'm pretty satisfied with them. They were great, and yeah, I would definitely recommend for you to buy them if you need them, of course. Let's check the next item. I don't know what to say. I know what this is, and I'm afraid to open it because when you see what's inside, you will say, oh no, not again. Do you know already what's inside? So what do we have here? We have 3 boards, but As you can see, two boards. Well, you can hardly see through the bag. Well, let me open them. So as you can see, two of the boards here are the same. I did order one of these because I want to test it, and just by coincidence, Pear yesterday released a new firmware that supports those external temperature sensors. What a timing. Okay, but we also have this board here. And you probably can see the difference, but let me zoom in and I'll try to show you what's the difference here. Okay, so this is the temperature sensor, DHT something, 11, 12 or something. And as you can see, it's missing here. The reason why it is missing here is because this board here has an empty slot. You can see it here. And the board here has temperature sensor like this. So the functionality of the board is the same, design of the board is the same, but there are dozen of variations to not dozen, at least 3, but I never saw first model. First model had temperature sensor that would fit in this hole here, but by the time that I ordered the first one, those sensors were gone and they started selling with these here. And now it seems that they are switching from sensors like this to the ones that are installed here. And current firmware that Pesor had didn't support them, so I ordered one of those boards just to be able to test and, if needed, help Pesor in implementing those new boards. So as you can see, here on top of this slot there is a component, and this component is temperature and humidity sensor, I think. Yeah. Okay. And as I said, nope, this is the external temperature sensor that can be attached to this connector here. And with this, you can measure the temperature of the soil inside your pot, garden, or whatever. Okay, let's check the web listing. I know, LilyGo boards, HiGrow boards once again, but bear with me, yeah. As I mentioned, those are the two different options of the boards. These are the original boards. When I bought them, they already had DHT11. Before that, I think they had DHT12, or was it vice versa? So these are the boards that I normally buy and I've been using so far. But we had one comment on the, Pesor had, and I have one comment on his repository and also on the channel, that there are new boards and somebody bought these boards here. As you can see, they are much more expensive, but what they miss here is the sensor itself, and this sensor is now located here. Pesor had to order one of those new boards. I also ordered one of those new boards. He created new firmware, and now even this option of the board is supported. And if everything goes as planned, next week on Wednesday I will be releasing a new video where I'll be covering on how you can use this new firmware, what are some changes, and there are a lot of changes inside the firmware, and how you compile it, and the settings that are kept even when you compile the firmware. So yeah, watch out for the video next week where I will be covering both the old boards, the new boards, and also the external temperature sensor for the soil. I still didn't manage to hook it up. I do have a new firmware on. I have prepared everything for it, but unfortunately I didn't have time in the last 2-3 weeks to test how this external sensor works. Okay, I bought it from the LilyGo official store. All the boards, the first batch of the boards I ordered, I didn't order from them. From later on, I did buy all my LilyGo boards directly from the LilyGo official store, and I definitely do recommend them. But I am preparing a new board, and this is something that, no, I will not be designing it. I found a great board on the internet, and I will try to make a new board, but this will be done later in the year, I presume around summer or even after summer. So don't forget to subscribe and you'll see that one. Also, I will be probably posting more information on that board in the future on my Discord channel, so check the server there. Okay. And yes, with those boards, as I said, I ordered 2 of those and 1 of these just for testing. I also bought the external temperature and humidity sensor. This is the component that you just connect to your HiGrow board, but the HiGrow board has to have the latest firmware and you do need to enable it inside the firmware. I really wish there would be a way for this to be permanently enabled and to just read the data, but unfortunately at this point you do have to enable it by hand, which is still okay, no worries about that. So these are 3 options for the cable, and I went for this one, which is fun enough because I paid $1.56 for this sensor and the shipping was $6. Then at the end, this was just for testing purposes, so I really didn't want to spend $11 for something that probably is much better, much accurate, much whatever, but I don't need it. So I'm using this one, which is much, much cheaper. As I said, I still haven't tested it, so I cannot tell you what is the accuracy, is it worth investing in that or not, but in my next video, next week, I will be also featuring this sensor and how you can hook it up to the HiGrow boards from the LilyGo. And thanks, Pesor, once again for really great update to the firmware and all the options you have been adding in the last almost a year now. Okay, let's check the next item. Hopefully, this time description will be true. USB cable. Wow, and it really is. Bunch of USB cables. And I've already prepared because I was hoping this is it. So we should have, I don't know, 3 sizes or something like that. You wouldn't believe how hard it is to find just this, not on AliExpress. On AliExpress you can find anything, but I was really looking forward for a cable that would allow me to reuse those chargers. I still think that I have at least 10, 15, maybe even 20 phone chargers ranging from 1 to 3 amps. Because I'm using those to power my LEDs and for projects. So yeah, this is a power only USB cable and it allows me to hook up this here like this, and then to use this to power my project. So first use will be the Queen LED boards for the LED strips, but also for some other projects, and hopefully, yeah, I will talk about those projects in this video maybe too. So yeah, great. I think that there are 3 different lengths here. They range from 0.5 to 2 meters or something like that. So I think this is the longest. Yeah, short and something like that. Okay, let's check the web listing. This is really great because I use... The problem was that if I don't buy those, I have to find, you know, broken keyboards or whatever, but usually the cable is broken here, so it still is no use to me. So this is really good. Let's check the web listing. Okay, so these are the USB cables I ordered. As you can see from this shop, you can order either 2-pin or 4-pin cables. 4-pin means that's also data and power, but I only needed power cables. And I use those cables, as I mentioned previously, to power up my LEDs. I control my LEDs with the Quindors Dig Uno boards, which I soldered myself. So I ordered all the components and boards and soldered them to myself. I have about 10, I think 15 boards. Yeah, 15 boards now. I did give a couple of away. 4 or 5 are installed, and yeah, the rest are still hanging around. So I will be using those cables. I ordered 6 cables total, so 3 that were 1 meter and 3 that were 2 meters, 2-pin version of USB male cables. I'm really happy with them. Before I had to salvage the cables from the non-working keyboards or things like that, and I wasn't satisfied with the quality and the thickness of the cable, and these are really thick. Cables look really great, and I have no problem powering up to 2 amps using my phone chargers. If you ever need USB cable for power, I would definitely recommend to go with these. I still have to buy a couple of more, including those that are 0.3 meters. Yeah, so I will definitely be buying more of them in the future. And that's it, not much more to add on this. Let's look at this item. It says printers, $10. I don't think that this is printers, but whatever it is nicely packed. So we have really here 2 packages. Okay, so 2 packages. Let's start with the smaller one. Well, I definitely have to say this is greatly bubble wrapped. So what we have here, I think this is a 54 millimeter or 58 millimeter thermal printer paper, or rolls of the paper. And let's check this one here. Ta-da-da! Nice, nice, really, really, really nice. So this is as you can see, self-test of the printer. This is a thermal printer. It already has a bit of paper. Let me put it back in. This is the thermal head for the thermal printer. So these are heaters. Here is the knife to cut the paper. This here is used to mount it. You have to unscrew. Okay. You have to unscrew this. It is used to mount it in a box. You have here switch, and it's also a light. And then what we have here, we have USB connector. This is the power connector, and this is something that I'm looking forward to use, although I may be using I may use at the end the USB connections too. Depends on how I manage to hook this up. But what this is, so this I have idea. I've seen on the web there is a project called Morning News or something like that, where author created, and the project is available on the GitHub, author created a printer, or used this printer to print morning news based on the RSS feed. So first part of the project for me will be to simulate that one, to do everything what he did, but also I want to test if I will be able to somehow connect this to Home Assistant. Because in the original project the author is using Home Assistant to track the status of the printer, is it out of paper and things like that. But what I was thinking is to be able to push notifications here. So this will be used something like let's call it like doomsday emergency alarm / notification printer for the Home Assistant. So yeah, this is the general idea. These are the cables. This is the voltage cable. This is the data cable. This is the USB cable. And let's check the web listing for this one. I really was looking forward to this. And here it is, the web listing for this item. So this is a 58mm embedded thermal printer that can be used for a lot of stuff, but I'm using it, or I will be using it inside Home Assistant. Well, not actually inside the Home Assistant because it probably would not fit inside my Synology, but I will be using it as a external component to Home Assistant, allowing me to print some stuff. If you follow me on the Twitter, and if you have seen my last stream, you've probably also seen that I have been successful in embedding it inside Home Assistant by using MQTT. I did change a code. I did use at the end different repository than the one I was expecting to use, but yeah, it works. I've ordered this item. So this is a QR204 TTL version of the printer, but it also included 3 rolls of paper. Inside you get one paper that was used to test the printer. I didn't rerun the test to see if this was a fake test from some other printer or not, but as I said, I'm using the printer and it works great. Plus you also of course receive 3 rolls of paper. The reason for that was that it's easier for me to order the pack than to go out and search for the paper that would fit inside the printer. As you've seen with the printer itself, you receive data and the power cable that I'm using to connect it to the ESP board. You also do receive a USB cable, which means that you can connect this printer, for example, to your PC, provide it with the power there and print stuff. A little bit of warning, this printer is using 5 to 9 volts, and printers such as these thermal printers use heaters to heat the paper to show the symbols or dots to create signs or text. If the line itself has a lot of dots, meaning that it is more black than white, a lot more power will be consumed. And it still is working. I did manage to hook it up in such a way that it provides enough power for both ESP and this thermal printer, but in the long run I may be working on some different solution to maybe use buck converter to get more power for the printer, then to lower it down to the 5 volts needed for the ESP board to run. So this is something that I'm still tinkering with, and I will be providing more information on the GitHub page. And yes, in the comment section of this video you will also find a link not just to this item or all the other items I mentioned here in the video, but also I will be providing a link to the GitHub repository where I'm already tinkering on the code for this project. And yes, if everything goes well, so next week there will be a video about the HiGrow boards, a version of the firmware 4.6 or 4.0.6. I can't remember what's the version of the latest firmware, but the latest firmware for the HiGrow. And the week after that there will be a video on how to integrate and use this inside Home Assistant. And as I mentioned, if you follow me on the Twitter, you've probably already seen all the fun stuff I did with the printer. And that's it. So as I said, there are a couple of versions of the printer and I'm using this one. It does come with these plastic holders that are used to hold the printer inside the frame that you print or put it inside, but I'm not using it because the printed box that I printed on my 3D printer is just enough of a size to fit there and to keep it really nice and tight. So there is an additional version called RS232. That one I'm not using, and of course you can buy a printer with the different packs of the rolls, so 5 rolls and 10 rolls. 5 for me was sufficient, although I did use up the first roll I had in the printer very quickly due to all the testing that I did. At the time of the purchase, I paid the item $23 that included shipping, so the price is now a bit higher, but still I would really recommend this printer if you want to have fun and do something and print something. And yes, it can be used, as I said, not just with the Home Assistant, of course, it can be hooked up to computer, you can use it to print even pictures, if you can call those pictures because they're dotty, but yeah, it works. Okay, let's check the next item. And let's see what this is. Thermal paper. Ta-da! So these are 3 rolls of thermal paper. And these rolls will be used with the printer. This one. But what's so special about those here is that they are stickers. So I can print, cut and make a sticker out of it. Why would I want to use it? I have no idea really, but it's great. Now I have a thermal printer. I've already hooked it up with the Home Assistant using the ESP8266 board and some custom firmware. And not just plain normal thermal paper, but I also have stickers. That will be great. I really have no clue what I will be using those stickers for. And I really would like to hear your ideas on what I can do with those stickers, but I'm so happy. My daughter also liked the idea, because this one can also be hooked up to computer and probably you can find some program and print graphics on it too, so I can use it to print her, I don't know, whatever really. Let's check the web listing. And this is the web listing for the thermal paper stickers. Once again, I really still have no clue for what I will be using them, but they are fun to have, so I ordered them. In this listing from Phone Tech Store, that has 98.3 positive feedback, the item itself costs $3.62 with the expedite shipping of $3.22 to Croatia. I did change and opt out for faster because I was really waiting for them and wanted to have as fast as I can, although I still haven't used them because I do not want to use them. Mind you, I did expect rolls to be thicker, but unfortunately they are not that thick. On the other hand, I have 3 rolls of paper now, so it will be probably sufficient for whatever reason I end up using them. And if you are wondering why these rolls are for, there is a special printer that you can buy on AliExpress called Perry Page, and this one is used to hook it up to your mobile phone and then use it to print images from your mobile phone. Of course, remember, these are dot images. They will be rarely dotted. They are black and white only, so yeah, be careful what you buy it for. Don't have too high hopes for that, but it's a fun idea to print stickers, emojis, and things like that. And this one will be used in Home Assistant. If you really have any idea on why I would use it with the Home Assistant, please give me a comment, because I still have, after 1 month, no clue for what I'll be using them. But hey, they are here. So I haven't tested them. I know that they are working. I know that they are sticky. I tried that, and I haven't used it in a printer, but I presume that if they work in this thermal printer, they should also work in the thermal printer I showcased just a couple of seconds ago. And this is it for this Mail Day video from BeardedTinker. I really do hope that you found something here useful for you, for your future projects, that you have some kind of idea. Also, if you find some other use for the stuff I bought here, I really would like to hear your comments and your thoughts about this one. You can always find me on my Discord server. The link to Discord server is, as always, in the comments of the video or description of the video. If you have any kind of a question or a comment, you can always find me there, but you can also leave a comment down in the comment section below. If you still haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell button to get notified of future updates. And for all of you that do not know, if you do subscribe, you are telling YouTube algorithms that you like my video, and then my recommendations for other viewers will also go up. So thank you very much to everybody who has subscribed. And I'll be seeing you next time. Until then, bye bye and have fun.